Hello, hello, hello. So, I wanted to come to you today with a review on this movie that I saw advertising on Netflix, and it's called Supercell. So, it's based in South London, and it's a group of normal people who suddenly develop superpowers, and the only apparent connection between them, it says, is that they're black. So, it's an all black character superhero movie. And as they deal with the impact of their powers on their daily lives, one man must bring them together. So each episode is framed around the main characters with powers. They each have an episode named after them. The first episode is named Michael. So let's get into it scene by scene. Okay, so in the first scene, it opens up and you see all of these black people locked up in these cells. One woman manages to get out of her cell. She attempts to escape and she's crying and she's scared and she's running. She's an older woman, probably in her late 50s to early 60s. The guards, they're chasing her with these guns and she hits like a dead end. And she's beating on the wall, hoping it would open, just wasting time. So finally, her eyes begin to light up and it lights up this beautiful bronze gold color. And she blasts the door open with her powers. Now she sees the sunlight and she just stands there staring at it and smiling. And you hear the birds chirping. And I'm like, girl, you do know those guards are not far behind, right? I mean, she's just wasting precious time. So she takes one step forward and boom, they shoot her. So they're dragging her body down the hall with this trail of blood, and all of the prisoners with superpowers, they're just watching this because their cells, it's like this see through plexiglass. Now, the scene reminded me of someone who has power and either doesn't know it or is too afraid to use it. And, I see people like this a lot, especially black people. So I'm not sure as to why she decided to use her powers in the last minute. I don't know why she didn't use her powers to light those guards up. Maybe she doesn't know how to activate her powers, but I'm interested in learning more about her story as the series continues. So, next we have the main character of the series, Michael, who is a delivery driver. Now, in his opening scene, you see him playing around with his girlfriend. He's pretending to hit on her, and I thought that that was a very clever thing to do. Um, kind of trick the audience into thinking he's this thirst bucket just trying to hit on women. So he's picking her up in this vehicle, and turns out he purchased it as a gift to his girlfriend. However, I think he's just telling her that. I think it's really for him. But the girlfriend, whose name is Dion, she's a very beautiful girl. I remember this actress from a series called Time Wasters, and she was really funny. She played this super pushy alpha female tomboy looking character, and she was brilliant. Now, keep in mind, I noticed that there are these drones flying around the city. So keep that in mind as a side note. So next we have Andre. Now, in his opening scene, he's in a restaurant with his ex, who seems like a bitch. She's trying to get money out of him in exchange for him to see his son. Now, Andre is clearly a beta male. I don't really like to say beta because there's nothing wrong with that, but it's the only thing I can come up with. He's basically a guy who is way too nice and he doesn't stand up for himself. He seems to be having some financial troubles. He doesn't have much money. He just seems to be real down on his luck, and he seems to really love his son. The next character that is introduced to us is Taser. Taser is your typical run of the mill thug in the hood. He's at this party with his boys looking for trouble. He gets into a fight and he gets stabbed. Now, this is someone you absolutely do not want to have powers because they are going to use it for bad. The next character that is introduced to us is Sabrina. Now we get to see her interactions with her sister, who has a very different personality from hers. Her sister is thirsty and seems to think that if a man isn't interested in her, it somehow means that he's gay. However, the sister isn't a joke. I mean, she's definitely not stupid. She seems street smart. But Sabrina, who is going to be one of the characters with the powers, she's kind of gullible. She's sweet. She's what Cynthia G would call feminine, fit, and friendly, yet still gets dogged despite her glowing and attractive qualities. So her sister is trying to tell her that she's not going to get a promotion because she's black. Of course, we couldn't have a black TV show without them throwing in politics, racism, and discrimination. Lastly, we have Rodney. Rodney is a pest who is somewhat goofy, or at least goofy looking. In his first scene, he's trying to sell Michael, the main character, some weed. Okay, so after all of the introductions into the characters' lives, we now come to the good stuff. Who's going to have what power? Now, Michael's first taste of his powers comes into play as he is on one of his delivery routes. So he's trying to deliver this package and he gets approached by Taser and his gang. They're trying to shake him down. So he ends up getting stabbed. He's lying on the ground bleeding, but turns out it was just a premonition. So after getting this premonition, he still insists on trying to get this delivery done. But instead of him getting stabbed, this time Taser gives him a warning. So next, Rodney. Rodney is trying to sell his little weed and he's trying to get his hustle on. So he's trying to catch the bus. He misses the bus, so he's running after the bus. And all of a sudden, he gets this super saiyan speed like the Flash, and he ends up in Scotland. Then we have Sabrina. She just got stood up by her boyfriend, and her sister is trying to tell her that he's lying. But because she's so nice and sweet, she doesn't believe it. She makes up every excuse in the book to give him grace. So the sister, who's down with the mess, she talks Sabrina into going to his house, just to see what's up. So they go over to the house, and another girl answers the door. So the boyfriend comes to the door, and he has the nerve to be upset with her for showing up. You know how the guys react on that show Cheaters. So, being the good girl she is, she does not argue with him. Instead, she walks away. Well, he goes after her, pulls her by the shoulder, and she turns around and her eyes begin to glow. And all of a sudden, he goes flying against the wall and he just knocked out cold. Her sister is trying to tell her that they need to go. And she's standing over him crying, saying she's sorry, blah, blah, blah. So the sister is like, "How did you do that?" And she's like, "I don't know. I didn't touch him." So I'm guessing she has telekinesis. Super cool. Next is Andre. Um, Andre done lost his job. He's watching his teenage son, and the son is like, "I'm starving. I'm hungry." So Andre goes out to get his son some wings, and his card declines. So he goes walking to the ATM machine, and he doesn't have any money in his account. His job didn't give him his last paycheck. So he's freaking out. Like, what am I going to do? My son is hungry. So he punches the wall and his eye starts glowing. And all of a sudden, the building starts to crack and the ATM machine starts spitting out money all over the place. So his superpower must be super strength. And by the way, he's kind of built like the Hulk. Very handsome man. Very. Next up is Taser. Ugh, Taser. His grandmother finds a shirt with some blood on it and she's asking him, "What is this?" And he's like, "Oh, I just cut myself." So she's trying to talk some sense into him and he just kind of shuts it down, but in a respectful way. And he's upset because he thinks his mom left him, but it turns out that his mother was one of the people who was captured and put into a cell. His mom is the one who tried to escape and got killed. Now, Taser has a lot of anger in him. I mean, a lot. He's very dangerous. They don't yet reveal what his power is in this episode, but I do know usually in superhero movies, the villain always has like one of the coldest powers. So I hate to see what his power is. Okay, so down to the last scene. Michael takes his girlfriend Dion to a nice restaurant for a romantic night out and he proposes. They get home, and of course, she's feeling a little sexy. So, as they're about to do it, his eyes start glowing, and she's like, "What's happening to your eyes?" Then all of a sudden, he just vanishes. So, he ends up in the future. So, Michael can see in the future and time travel. So, they're all dressed up in black, all five of them, all five of the superheroes, and he can see them all using their powers except Taser. And I don't know how they end up making Sabrina, who, by the way, is a gorgeous girl, but they end up making her look like an old witch. But that's neither here nor there. But Michael meets his future self, and he's showing him a grave. So basically, Michael's mission is to find the four superhero characters um, and to prevent Dion's death. So, very interesting. Um, I'm looking forward to watching the next episode. And it looks like, I mean, the acting is great. The acting is great. The special effects. Now, when Michael was opening up the portal, that was super cool. Now, the only thing I didn't like that looked kind of lame was, I think when they were lifting up the vehicle. So there was a vehicle in the air that looked kind of fake. So I'm just really hoping that they don't, because a lot of times in these like black superhero movies, um, the antagonist is always, these thugs in the hood, and they're trying to fight the gangs, fight against the criminals who are trying to bring down the neighborhood. Like I'm tired of those stories. It's a little cliche, so I'm hoping it's not all about that. Um, yeah, and I'm hoping that they're not too heavy on the politics and all of that stuff, because in my opinion, that ruins a good movie. It ruins a good TV show. I mean, if you want to throw it in every now and then, I guess, I mean, it's your show, but I just don't want it to be over the top, because then I'll just lose interest and I won't watch it, because I just, it takes away from the story. But yeah, so I'm going to watch episode 2, see what I think, and if I like it, then I'll continue to make some more reviews. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day.